If you're looking for some of the best board games out there to utilize in your homeschool, whether that's for your preschoolers all the way up to your teens, then you are in the right place. Let's get started. Today, I've got games for you in multiple categories, but we're going to start out with our earliest learners first, giving you some great ideas for those toddler, pre-K, kindergarten, maybe even up to first grade age group. For your youngest learners, Seekaboo is a great option. It has these fun colored circles with different household objects on it that your child can play in a variety of ways. You can draw a card and have them match the picture on the card to the picture on the dot, or even have them find a yellow bordered picture or a green bordered picture. There are lots of options, and the instructions have multiple ways to play that will help your child at a developmentally appropriate age be able to actually enjoy playing games. And this one involves a lot of movement, so it's perfect for those little wigglers. Also, for those younger years and those early developmental skills, we love the games that come in this series. You probably have heard of the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel game, but there are actually several games in this series. Ones like Shelby's Snack Shack, Sophie's Seashell Scramble, and Happy Floppy's Happy Hunt. Say that 3 times fast. So each of these games are similar in playing, but working on different skills. Each come with a fun animal creature that has sort of working on that pincher grasp concept. It has a spinner of some type. Some are working on numbers, some on colors, shapes, all sorts of things. It has the box itself, which is going to be your game board. And then it comes with little figures. Their child is going to spin and grab the different items to collect as many as they can. Each game is played slightly differently, but overall is working on those same skills of early education mixed with early development and working on coordination and things like that. Monopoly Discovery has become a favorite in our home and is different than Monopoly Junior. This one actually offers 2 different gameplays. So the board game and cards flip over and you can play their level 1 for the littlest of kids or level 2 for big kids. We enjoy the fact that it can grow with our kids and still working on a lot of those skills that you've come to know and love from Monopoly. However, a much shorter game, which we all can appreciate. It can work on beginning number skills. So here you're counting and matching, and here it's reading and simple math. This is a great one for young players who are ready to kind of dip their toes in the water. Not all junior games are actually created equal, nor are they as fun or as engaging, but both of those games actually offer challenge for your kids, but at an age appropriate level. Scrabble, for instance, is designed for 5 and up and is perfect when you're working on those beginning spelling skills with your kiddos and beginning math as they work on scoring. Another great one for language arts learning for littles is Apple Letters. So if you've heard of bananagrams, this is the younger kid version of it, and it has a bunch of different letter tiles inside your child is going to use to make up different words. It's not as much of a speed game as bananagrams is, but it's a great game and an easy one to take on the go. Before I jump into the rest of our games, I do want to say that this video is done in collaboration with my friend Jessica over at Waldock Way. Jessica is well known for her popular game schooling videos, and she is actually going to be sharing some of her favorite stocking stuffer games. So be sure to go check out her video when we're done by clicking the link down in the description below. Next up, let's check out my favorite science games for kids. This is one we got our kids last year for Christmas, and it's called Brain Games, the Game. If you're familiar with the show on Netflix, Brain Games is all about those mind trick things, those things that your brain interprets one way, but it's actually a different way. This one is fun because your kids will be laughing and they'll be in awe, all while learning about how the brain works. Next up is Pandemic. Now, after living a pandemic myself, I'm a little less excited about this game, but it is a good jumping off point. There are a lot of learning opportunities within this game. Now, while it doesn't explicitly teach facts and information per se, you are utilizing a game board with a whole world view. So they are learning the different points for geography purposes, as well as being able to open up the conversation and even further discussion or study into pandemics and what does it mean to have an outbreak and what are the implications of that? On a much more beautiful scale, photosynthesis is a game that I was shocked that I enjoyed as much as I did, because it's a board game centered all around trees and the life cycles of trees. So you start out and you're trying to plant these trees and get them to full maturity, but you have to consider factors like where is the sun and how much sunlight are they going to get. This game has 3D pieces, so you are actually playing with these built out 3D trees, and is such a fun one for all ages. Camp is a game that we got more recently, and it is actually going to teach your kids different nature and survival facts. What I love about this game is that each of the cards has tiered questions. So if you're playing with the youngest of players, you'll ask them the easiest of questions. And then for an adult, you would ask them the much harder questions. They're going to learn a lot about animals and about different fun facts when it comes to that, but you're going to be able to play it all within a group and make it at everybody's level. For geography and history, we can check out ones like Ticket to Ride. I know this is a really popular game, but you may or may not know that it also does have expansion packs. So for instance, we have Ticket to Ride London. If you're not familiar with expansion packs, that means you do need the base game in order to play this. So this is just another addition to it. But some of the Ticket to Ride expansion packs are actually their own game. This is going to have you building trains all over different locations around the world. Again, you're working on those geography skills, critical thinking, thinking ahead, and so much more. Seven Wonders or Seven Wonders Duel, which is just the 2-player version of that game, could also be a great one to use as a jumping off point for history. So within this game, you are going to be working with some of the powerful cities in history. You're going to be working to triumph over your opponent through your play. Again, while the game itself doesn't teach a ton of facts, it's a great thing to pair with your history, as you have different place cards like the Sphinx, the Hanging Gardens, you've got the Great Lighthouse, the Mausoleum, things like that. So they can just be great hooks to hang that information on from things you're already learning, or an opportunity to dive deeper into things that are of interest to them. Palazzo is a board game that takes place in the 15th century in Florence, Italy, and it is all about the big building boom that is happening, and all of the artists and architects are trying to be the first to build out their area. They turn this event into a fun game that your children can play and learn a little bit along the way. If you're in the process of studying about wars or any kind of battlefield, then Stratego might be a good game to add. My boys really enjoy this game. It is designed for 2 players and kind of gives them an idea of the kind of strategy that goes into these battles and into these wars. They have a lot of different fun ones. This is the original Stratego, but they do have different versions. So definitely take a look at what's offered out there. When it comes to math games, there are a lot of fun options. Of course, our favorite is King Domino and Queen Domino. Both of these games are tile building type games where you are going to be using math to build out your board. Now, my kids really got into this at a very young age, and so I feel like this is a fun one that they say they can start as soon as 8, although some of mine started younger, and it's something that they really still enjoy playing even as teens today. Azul is another great option and plays a little bit like a Sudoku puzzle in the sense that you are going to have these different tiles on the board, and you can only have one of each tile going across and also going down. You're trying to make these different patterns to be able to score the most points possible. This is another one that my kids were able to enjoy far before the age on the box, which is also 8+. One that my husband and I have been playing for years, but my kids have gotten particularly into recently, is Bonanza. Bonanza is a game that will help your kids in working on or illustrating the importance of things like statistics, because you see they're going to be planting these bean fields. There are different kinds of beans and they have different amounts of probability of coming up. So there are only 10 black-eyed beans, but there's 24 coffee beans, and so on and so forth. They're going to be dealt their cards and have to decide which ones they're going to invest in and plant knowing that the ones that have less cards are a higher risk, but they also have a higher reward. This one has been so much fun and offered a lot of learning opportunities. Prime Club is, of course, another classic math game. You have this board of circles, and you are going to roll the dice and do what it says to do. You're either going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide to get yourself into the center of the circle. So if you're looking to work on some of those math facts, this is going to be a fun one to try. For language arts, there's a ton of different options that I could have pulled, but I pulled just some of our favorites for this one. Codenames is one that my kids got for Christmas last year. Of course, we've been playing it at friends' houses for a long time, but the way it's going to work is you're going to lay out these cards and they have different singular words. You're going to try and get your team to guess what that word is by giving them only a simple clue. With this, you're going to have to guess, and it has worked really well on helping my kids to think critically, to be able to use words to describe things, and has built their vocabulary quite a bit. Blurble is a game I almost considered not sharing because it's not the easiest to find, but if you can find a copy of Blurble, definitely grab it for your home. This game is a fast-paced word association game. So you're simply going to be battling one other person that you're playing with, although this is meant for a large group, and you're going to flip over a card. You're going to see the picture and you're going to say a word as fast as you can that starts with the same sound as the picture. So cookie, I would say cat. If I said it first, then I would get that card and I would go to the next person around that circle to battle it off with them. This gets quite comical when the pictures could maybe be interpreted slightly differently. And it's funny how easy it might seem, but when you're in a rush like that, how many mistakes you'll make. This is a really fun one, and obviously you can slow it down for beginning learners, but this one is a really great one to work on those phonics skills, word association, beginning letter blends, and more. Word Spiel is another one that we got more recently. This game is a card deck with different letters, and you are going to spell a word, but the word you spell, someone else is going to have to build their next word off of that letter. So it can add a lot of different dynamics and challenges, and of course work on that spelling. Poetry for Neanderthals is definitely my teens' favorite right now. It simply is getting different cards with a word on it, and you have to describe that word using only one syllable words. Of course, if you make a mistake, instead of something like in the past, like a buzzer, you get to hit them over the head with an inflatable no stick. You can see why it's the teens' favorites. But this one has helped some of my kids on working on those syllable rules and making sure they're only using one syllable, as well as, again, learning how to describe. It is a lot of fun, and you will have a lot of laughter in your home if you play this. Upwards is a classic that I enjoyed playing as a kid. Think Scrabble, so you're building out words, but the difference is you can add tiles on top of each other. So you are building your board up. You might not be able to go down or across, but you can go up with your words. And so this is just another kind of fun spin on that classic. Last but not least, I wanted to leave you guys with some of our favorite kind of extracurricular ones, the ones that didn't go in any of the other categories. First up is the Categories game from Not Consumed. This one is teaching your kids all about thankfulness. This is actually one that I got for a gift, but we have another copy that my kids love to play. You quickly pull out a card, it gives you a category, and you have to say something you're thankful for in that category, then pass the card around. If you repeat one of the things that have already been said, or if you wait too long and you pause too long, you're out of that round, and it keeps going around until there's only one player left standing. Another one from Not Consumed that is new that we love is the Creations Cross Captive board game. This one is taking your kids all through the journey of scripture, and it's a Bible trivia game, but unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's meant to be played in teams, so it works great for large families and multiple ages at one time, and it has fun challenges like you're gonna have to draw something or act something out. So something I would definitely recommend checking out. For art skills, Dixit is a fun one to play. This one is going to have multiple picture cards in front of you, no reading required, so great for all ages. And you're going, as the storyteller, are going to pick one card and you're going to pick one word to describe that card. Then you'll lay out a selection of cards and everyone has to try to guess based on your one-word clue which one is the card that you picked. And if you're into logic games that really work on those logic skills, check out Think Fun's Cat Crimes game. This one is one my kids really enjoy, and it's basically a logic puzzle with pieces. It's really, really fun. And if you're looking for more ideas on this kind of thing from the Think Fun company, be sure to check out this video that I did in the past all about our favorites from Think Fun.